Hey everybody, welcome back to the Transition Masterclass. Today I'm really excited. We're going to have Micah Taylor with us. Um, I met her through our SkillBridge community. She does a bunch of stuff helping soldiers and airmen and etc. transition. She does it using ChatGPT. I had her come speak to our SkillBridge sales platoon, and she did a phenomenal job. So I'm really excited today. We're going to ask a lot of questions of how to use AI to help you with your transition, and she's going to be the expert on that.
Okay, let me know if you can see my screen, just
I
because
got
I
to
have it
add
on my
it.
laptop.
Hold on.
Okay. All right,
There we
no
go.
worries. All right, perfect. I'm gonna take I'm over in Germany, and so it's late at night, and so I'm having a cup of coffee, which is fine. I'm a little addicted. So, okay, so let's go over some housekeeping things. This is ChatGPT, right? Um, And over on the left sidebar here, you will actually have your most common GPTs. And to include, you can explore different GPTs that other people have created. And there's different rating systems out there, which is awesome. And then you'll have your history here. And I pay for the Chat GPT Pro just because I use it all the time. I need the storage with that. But you don't have to if you don't want to. There is a limit on amount of data that you can use or how many chats you can use. So, and they change that all the time. So, the other thing is for housekeeping. If you go over here to the far right, you will actually see a settings tab. And in the settings tab, data controls, there we go. And so I have improved the model for everybody. I have this off actually, just because I only want the data for me. I don't want to share it with everybody else. So that's up to you
Right.
what you'd like to do, but this just makes sense for me. So the one that we're going to use that I have here, and I'm sure you can just include this in the YouTube link, the link for it. I named it Military to Civilian Resume Maker. I am very direct. I like clear and identified things. I don't like a bunch of special names. So I just wanted to make sure people could find this. And within this portion, I've made it really simple to where all you have to do is upload documents about your career, right? And you also want to make sure that you have gotten rid of your socials if you need to, do whatever security makes sense for you. But you're just going to upload these. I have several PDFs that are printable PDFs. And these PDFs are from a client of mine, and they're all going to upload here. And I make sure everything has uploaded. You can upload 10 PDFs at a time. And my recommendation is to actually do your last 5 performance reviews, and then to maybe do a sheet that had to do with your bio or your awards, stuff like that. And then from here, all you're going to do, I try to make it really simple, is just press the up arrow, and it's going to calculate and actually create a civilian resume. Okay. It's going to review all this stuff. It's going to focus on all these areas. And then it's actually just going to get started. All right, I'll get started on the draft. And then I will put, please create a detailed, right? Because you want to, your instructions to the AI dictate what it will do. So the more detailed you are in your instructions, the more detailed the AI will be. Please create a detailed resume. So I'm just going to do something simple that we can build off of. And what it's going to do is it's going to start building a resume based on what I have included in the build that this happens. So I've worked with a lot of civilian recruiters. And in there, I've tried to make sure that the resumes that are being built really mimic what the civilians need. It is a different language. I call it like speaking Canadian, right? In the military, we're like America, and then civilians are like, whoa, hold on. Yes, that's
Yep.
good, but also, and so what I have found is that there's certain language that can sound really boisterous in a resume, highly accomplished, best at what I do, and so forth. It can sound to the point of being arrogant, and we want to be really careful in the way that we're representing ourselves. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
hire someone who is arrogant, right, anymore. We want to
Yep.
hire people that are team players, and you're showing that in your resume. Your resume is a product of who you are and your personality as well. So we want to be really, really careful as veterans is to make sure we're taking away a bit of the EPR, right, language, and we are moving more towards civilian language. So as it starts out, this will start out here. IT personnel, it will have how many years of experience, right? It's putting everything together. Has the technical skills, which is really important because this will be for an IT resume. And then here we go. Okay, so United States Air Force, right? Where the location is at, various locations. Sometimes this will happen. And so what I'll do is I'll actually say name each base, right? And state the location at that. Additionally, what I did within this military to civilian resume maker is I actually had it identify the keywords first and then what a person did within those keywords. And that's basically how an EPR or OPR is written. However, the keywords make a difference when it comes to tracking systems or looking at job roles. When you're looking at a role, especially for a posting, right? The job postings are posted for the job seeker. They are posted there to say, this is exactly what we're looking for. Show me that you have this. They're meant to have keywords, your KSAs, your indicators, and so forth. So if they're looking for a project manager, right, I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and right here it says project leadership. I may change that to project management because leadership and management are going to be interchangeable right here.
Right.
Um, these keywords are going to add up when it comes to the resume being turned in. But for right now, it's just a master resume. Show me your keywords, what you've done, and what were your results. If there are no results in your resume, then it sounds like a job description. And so results are really, really important in resumes. For example, okay, if I posted a job description and it said, provide advanced troubleshooting IT support to users. If it was just that, that's a job description. This portion here, this resulting, this resulting lets me know what you did with what you have. And so
Right.
it's so important to show results. In interview panels that I've been on, I will ask a question and someone will tell me what they've done, but they don't tell me the results of what happened. And I don't care if the results are good or bad. I want to know that you know your end product, what you do with what you had. Here I have the education portion, which is important to include her, right? We don't know how to put our military training in. This is part of that education. And her awards, I had it spell out the awards basically for what you were honored for or what you did. Military awards work great on federal resumes.
Not
They
so
do
much.
not work that great on civilian resumes. If I'm looking for a team leader, I think a team award makes a difference. But if it's a quarterly award, I'm going to think, why did she get the yearly award? You know, um, and so I want to make sure like the awards make sense. A lot of people, when they leave, they know that they've worked hard to get those awards, and so putting them on a master resume helps. It helps it mentally to say, yes, I did achieve this, but understanding that it may not work well in every single job that you apply for, that's really important too. So,
Yeah.
and then professional certifications and professional development. What I want to do is I actually want to go ahead and increase this portion here, right? And so what I want to do is make sure this sounds better right here. So I will say, please provide a more detailed job description, include the location and a base description. So we're going to let that run for a second, just to be able to provide, I want more of a description of what she's doing. When it comes to ChatGPT, it's just like building a cake, right? You can't just put one ingredient and say it's going to be great. You need to add in all the ingredients and then you need to mix it together appropriately. You have to make sure everything makes sense for what you need to use. And for me, I needed more details. It gave me an overall detail, which is great, but now I need more detail about what's happening. And
Yeah.
so for here, having this base description right here, right, lets me know as an employer who may not have any contact, right, overseas or any military base. I know now that Ramstein, is the head, right, for US forces for Europe. That's a pretty big deal. It controls this, it has a base equipment, extensive, and it supports over 16,000 personnel. It actually has a lot more than that, it has almost 50,000, but maybe it only supports 16,000 in the wing that she is in the cybersecurity position, because there's different wings, all that good stuff. So looking at this, it provides a better description, right? And then here's the next base. Here's Joint Base Andrews. So you may need to ask this GPT to provide more details for what you want. For right now, what I'm going to do, oh, here we go. And David Moss, see how it gave more detail,
Yeah.
which is great. That's all we needed. Do not get frustrated with a GPT if it just gives you one answer and it's your first answer.
Right.
It's right. You kind of have to interrogate it, right? Well, tell me more. What are we doing? You know,
Mhm.
you have to ask it more questions to get where you want to go. And it is happy to do this. You are not wearing a system out. You want to keep going. If anything, you're going to wear yourself out. So you do want to make sure you're asking the right questions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy part of this. You can also put it all together if you want, but I find that this actually works really great. I'm going to take this first part here and copy this. And I have a Word document. Can you see the Word document come up?
Nope, not yet.
Nope.
You have
Okay.
to select it.
I have to select it. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do, and you can, so let me go through something here really quick at the very bottom. These controls right here, right at this, can you see this bottom portion
Yep.
right there? So this control will actually read you your items out loud. I am an audible learner, right? I learn better by listening than I do by reading. And so sometimes when I need to absorb information in a highly detailed manner, I will actually have the GPT read it out loud to me, and that helps me understand things better.
Yeah.
If you are having your resume and your bullets and you need to make sure it makes sense, have it read it out loud to you. And if you're
Yep.
listening to it and you're like, wow, in an interview, I have no idea what this person said, don't use it. Go ahead and change it. That's okay. There's no rules out there how many times you're going to change your resume. You'll probably
Right.
change it 100 times. That is absolutely fine. You can copy the text as well, but I find that there's discrepancies in copying it. They have extra asterisks, there's extra words, so I don't copy anything. I manually copy and paste things. And then you can tell the GPT if you like it. And so if you like it, it will start generating more items like that. So I've tried to fine tune this enough, but again, it's not perfect. So let me share the Word document. I'll show you guys how to formulate this. Okay, so what I've done, there's a few housekeeping rules on this for my resume. The first thing is you want to make sure your font is readable. And so I go ahead and make my layout narrow, right? I want to use as much space as I can. And then I make my font readable. Times is fine, but I actually find that I like Garamond better. I just find this the most readable font. And then I always make it 11 for some reason. I find 10 is too small, stuff like that. So uh, I'm getting rid of any fluff. So any of these lines that don't make sense. Additionally, I'm going to just get rid of, there we go. Well, we'll just leave it. She's fine. Okay. So here for a civilian resume, I want to move things in towards the middle. And there we go. Perfect. I will have her fill in information. But for right now, if you press Shift F3, there you go. I'm a big person on shortcuts. That will capitalize any verbiage that you have. I'm not trying to overwhelm a page where I'm like this, like notice my name. It's not like that. Please don't, because capital words and large letters, you are
Right.
shouting at people. so
Mhm.
so just calm down. I usually just do 16. I think that's fair. It looks very professional. Additionally, if you press Control E, that will go ahead and then Shift F3. That will capitalize things that you need. All right. We're going to get rid of highly skilled because, again, we don't want to shout at people. And technical skills are fine. We can leave that there. I'm going to adjust that in a minute. And then I'm going to go over and just copy the information. I'm not going to, well, actually, since I'm sharing, you guys can see this. Okay. So now I'm copying over my professional items here, the professional experience. And here we go. And we'll just copy over these. And we'll go back over here. And this, it's actually makes it nice to have everything there that you need. So um, there's certain things that I want to make sure that it's easy to read. I don't need to state the position. This is the position, right? I don't need
Correct.
to state the location. This is the location as well. And I'll go back through her information and get the dates too. So if you press Control B, you can go ahead and bold items that make sense. Um, and then for items right here, I'm just going to make these bullets. Now, again, I don't like wasting space in a resume. I actually don't like all of this extra space. So what I'm doing is I'm right-clicking, going to paragraph, and click this don't add space right there. And it just tightens it up. It's not unreadable, right? But I want to use the space that I need to put things in. Additionally, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting keywords because you only have maybe 10 seconds with every hiring manager. They're looking through things saying, okay, what can I do? And then they're like, okay, let's put it over. All of this information I have to verify. So I am going to go in and make sure everything makes sense. I don't want to waste anyone's time with any of that or anything like that. I just want to make sure like the basic formatting is there. Do not get fancy with your resume. Please. Do not get fancy. Do not add colors. Do not add weird lines. Don't add a picture unless you're being hired in a foreign country. If you want to be hired within Europe or Asia, then they have standards and they have pictures. But over in the US, do not add photos. It will have a bias against it, and no hiring manager wants that. What else I like to do is if you see over here on the edge, right, there's all these indents, right, the way that it's justified. What I do is actually take this and I will go up instead of being aligned left, I actually do full justified. And I find that it's just cleaner. It runs from edge to edge. It looks like a very professional document. I feel like I can go ahead and present this. Again, I'll be adding in dates and so forth. And then I will be changing up this skill section as well.
Nice.
But it's starting to look like a resume. It hasn't taken me much time, which is really important. We're going to go back to ChatGPT. And when you are getting hired, right, there's a difference between your hard skills and your soft skills. But what's happening now in the resume world is that the bosses are coming down, they're saying they must have A, B, and C for experience. They must have Salesforce experience. They must work with healthcare systems. Whatever the hard skill is, that's a hard skill for the boss too. That's a hard spot. So they need to have that. And the recruiters are sitting there saying, okay, I'm not going to look at any resumes unless they have this skill. So again, looking at the job description makes a really big difference because they're telling you what they need. When I go through a resume, I said, list the top 10. You could say 10 or 9. I kind of like 10 hard skills. And then I put just the list because I don't need a description. I need just the list. I need to get to the point. I'm going to describe in the bullets what I've done. And all of this needs to make sense. So cybersecurity protocol and compliance. Yep, she's got that. Network infrastructure management. So I need to make sure all of these make sense. So what I'm doing is I'm going to copy all of this. And I'm going to go up here to where I had this technical skills. And I'm actually just going to post this here. Okay. Oh, Lord help me. One second. I right click and I will paste just text only. And this doesn't need to be bolded. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that and just not bold it. Additionally, I try to take the smallest text and move it up a bit. Now she does have a top secret, which I think is really important. Okay. And that did not show up. So what we're going to do is put if the job requires it, right? We're just building her master resume. Secret, I know I spelled it wrong. Top secret, SEI, what is it called? Top secret.
SEI, well, it depends. She could be
Yes,
SEI poly. She could be, there's a couple of different variations.
with it. Yes, I'm actually just going to put top secret clearance and then fix that. My brain is not working. Again, don't pay attention to my spelling, please. My husband always laughs at me. He goes, Micah. I'm like, I know. Okay. And then I leave a room for a date, right? Date. And she can go ahead and fill that in. Anything she needs to put in, I'm going to highlight, which is Shift Control H. Oh, wait, never mind. It is, we're just going to manually highlight it there. So, and then I'm going to take out something that doesn't make sense. That one, she can express that later. Okay, from here, I'm going to change my layout and put 2 columns in. Okay. Additionally, I'm going to add bullets right here. And see how this has went off, right? You can adjust things to where it makes more sense, but there we go. And so now it looks really clean. If I'm looking at a resume, I need it to be clean. It needs to make sense. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have what she's good at. We have her professional summary. Now, she may be known as a network operations manager or a security specialist or items like that. What I'm going to do is say, given her experience, what is the best title? What is the best civilian title? And so civilian is really important because we're distinguishing going from military to civilian. And you just ask questions and it will tell you why. And based on the conversations with her, we're going to choose cybersecurity operations manager because that is what she wants to do. And she's skilled in it. Her education will be fine. So instead of professional summary, we're going to put that. What I would recommend is that whatever the title is of the job is to put that there. So if they're asking for IT operations manager, put IT operations manager. If they're asking for IT, if they're asking for cyber, put cyber. So it all do what they ask you to do. Is all this making sense? Is this all right?
It totally makes sense to me.
Okay, perfect. So there we go. And again, sometimes when you get too close to things, you just have to go back. There we go. And I always try to mimic the, oh, that looks bold. Let's see. That is bold. Ah, I know what happened. Control V. There we go. Cybersecurity specialist, and there we go. So contact information. If you are overseas and you are applying for a job in the US, put a US number.
Yeah.
If you do not, it happens all the time. If you do not care where you live, then put the location of the company because you're going to move there anyways. Never cause a reason for doubt.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you tell me you're in Germany and you don't have a US number, I'm going to skip over it because you're not here. Right.
Yep.
Even though it may take a while to hire someone, if you're not here, I need to get the job hired going because that is what I'm paid to do. So, yes. So the other portion that we need to add in is her education. I know she has a lot more education than this, but we're just, for example, we're just going to maneuver this in. And so I'll put, we actually have her education right up here, which is great. And actually, I'm going to put this, please list her education, separate military education from civilian, and add certs. Oh, I need to go back to school. No wonder my mom was like, "Oh my God, Micah." My mom is a retired command chief.
You joined the military,
right? Yeah, she's a retired command chief. My mom is just a badass, and so I'm sure there are moments she's like, "Oh God."
like, whose child are you?
Absolutely, I'm going to hear this. That's okay. That's absolutely fine. In the cyber world, certifications are more important. There is a difference between being certified and having a certificate. Being certified means that you've taken a test to show you that you are good to go on this, and your employer can entrust you based on this test. They can entrust you with the roles and responsibilities. Being certified does mean that you have gained knowledge, but it does not mean you are experienced in. So knowing the difference in that does matter. I do have service members that get confused on that, and that's absolutely fine. But I want to just make sure that that's very, very clear that certificates and certifications are very different. All right. So what we're going to do here is we are going to, we don't need to say civilian education, right? Because we already have education here. There's no need to be redundant on that. However, okay, we do want to identify the education. Do not put the dates that you graduated college. Ageism is very real. It does happen. People do not get hired a lot because they're like, oh, you graduated from college in 1993. They're going to think, well, why are you working still? even though you may love working. They don't know the reasons. Or you may have bought, a multi-million-dollar ranch in Montana and you need to pay for it. Whatever the reasons are, right? It's
Right.
important to know that. However, so not putting dates is important. If you are doing a federal resume, you absolutely need to put those dates because they are technical resumes.
Right.
They are written completely differently. So here we're just going to Shift F3 and then we're going to do Control. There we go. And so what I want to do is I want to list my certifications. Okay. See how it says this is recommended but not obtained? I need to delete this. Only put the experience that you actually have, right? And so right now, this is all that I'm showing. And I will ask her questions. I'll say, hey, can you send me your other certifications and so forth? If that's all she has, then that's all we're putting right there. When you apply for a job, if you are within 1 month of graduating, maybe a couple months, I think it's okay to put that you're about to graduate. But if you're 6 months out and the job requires you to have that education, don't put it on there. You're not there yet. So you do need to make sure that you've completed who you are at the time of application. Unless there is a program, like there's certain government programs that say if you're a recent graduate or just about to graduate, then go ahead and apply for this. So it's really important to read the job descriptions. Let's see here, Control E. Okay, and again, we're just going to take all this, unbold it because there's no point in that. And I like to save space. They may ask, all right, where did you learn this and so forth. The company that she's applying for may actually have different like roles or how do I put this? You may be able to collect the courses that they have. I doubt it, but just in case. So again, certifications are more important. So we're going to put certifications here and hopefully she'll have more. So I'm leaving space for this and I'm just going to create room. Hold on one second. Okay, more certs. And I will highlight this so we know to add more. It doesn't take much to build a resume with AI. It's actually super easy. You just have to add in the documents and adjust as needed. So, and then like we would add an award section, all that towards the bottom, but you just need to keep adding things in. I'm going to show you a resume that is completed. Let's do William. He's a pretty good guy. There we go. And this is Williams, right? And so same format, where the base is and so forth, what he's done, all of this, education and certifications, what he did. I added a description of what the program was just in case, and then added the awards and honors section. And this all came from ChatGPT, just making sure that it aligns. His career wasn't crazy long. He needs to add more information here, right? But this is all that he gave me, but it still has, hey, he's led a team, he's done asset management, he's done leadership as well. So this just kind of adds everything in. It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
What questions do you have? I kind of was talking for a long
No,
time.
that's great. And this resume writing was the top concern of transitioning vets in our group poll.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Top
There's
concern.
a panic with it. Absolutely. What I would tell people is first, don't start too late. Really. If you're starting a year out, ooh, that's cutting it really
The
close.
series
Actually.
goes so fast.
Yes, it does. I had a service member come in, and my heart just broke because he gets out in a couple months, and he's like, "What can I do?" And I'm like, "Whew, okay, we got to work hard like right now." So, and he asked about SkillBridge and other opportunities, and I was just very blunt. I said, "You're too late." Right? You don't focus your energy on things that aren't going to work. Focus your energy on supporting your family. Please start early. Everything from your resume transfer over to LinkedIn. Your resume has to match LinkedIn 100%. It does matter. And then reach out for mentorship. There's so many people in the world that want to help veterans. They really do. But people kind of like, oh, they won't help me. They absolutely will help you. They do. I had a client when I worked in Idaho who was very introverted. He just had a hard time getting out there. And it happens a lot. He probably was in cyber, now that I think of it. There are a lot of them are introverted. So it's a perfect career field. But he went ahead, and I said, on LinkedIn, I want you to reach out to 20 people within 6 months. I said, ask him for a coffee cup conversation and just say, I really like what you're posting. I like the company that you're working at. And then don't tell anything about yourself. Just ask them questions. And within there, it will start, that conversation will start building. He had a job within like 2 months. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to get yourself out there. It's hard, but just push yourself out there. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and going through this, guys. If you haven't started experimenting with ChatGPT, you should be. There's a host of benefits, and inside the group, she has a video that's tagged at the top of the group where you can see this. It also has her GPT link in there so that you can use this. All of these resources are available in the hub.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't talk too much.
Not at all. Not at all.
I tend to go on let's do it. No worries. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.